Okay, welcome back to the Sullen Socialist. And today, whistleblowers. Definitely worth a discussion, especially with everything that's going on in the US at the moment, but not quite what you might think. Yes, I am going to talk about Trump and what's going on, but I want to talk about whistleblowers in general and what goes on with whistleblowers, because a couple of statements from the Democrats actually had me more concerned. The the whistleblower who's made allegations which have been, from what we can tell, fairly well substantiated about Trump and things that he's said when in discussions with Ukraine, and the details of other phone calls which have been moved to another server, which is interesting in and of itself, but have been removed from the general area where they're normally kept and put in somewhere theoretically more secure so that people don't get access to them. Now, so this has pretty much been corroborated already. Of course, Trump being Trump is going after the whistleblower and anybody else who says anything that he doesn't like, which is, that's just Trump. That's what he does. Trump is a child. He can't take any kind of criticism. He has no respect for the law. He has no respect for anyone, anything. He has no respect for the Constitution. I actually don't even think he's read it. I don't think he's got any idea what's in it. So he's got no understanding of the fact that it's the job of Congress to actually investigate him. It's up to Congress to make sure he does his job and he doesn't do anything wrong. And if he does do anything wrong, it's Congress's job to investigate it. That's it. That's their sworn duty. And he doesn't get that. He thinks that if anybody's going to investigate him, obviously they've got it in for him. Well, no, that's their job. And he's the last person who can criticize anyone being investigated with all the attacks that he made on Obama when Obama was in office, starting with the birther movement. So anyway, so that's beside the point. But where we've got to with the whistleblower is that Trump's going after the whistleblower and he's making a big note about it. He's being a dictator, pretty much. He's acting like a dictator, totalitarian dictator, which is a lot to do with I believe, a lot to do with the fact that he's probably never been held accountable for anything in his entire life. He's run his own business his entire life. Anybody who disagreed with him, he'd just fire them and get somebody in who'd say, yes sir, no sir, 3 bags full sir. So he's never had any problems. If you didn't do what he wanted, he threatened you, he did whatever he had to do, and he thinks he can do that now. And he thinks because he's in the office that he's holding and he has all these powers behind him and he has an army behind him, he can do what the hell he wants, and he can't. And he has to understand that that's not the thing. He's not an exalted ruler, he's not a supreme being, he's just a person, and in actual fact he's in a lower position now. Before, he was the king of his little domain. Now he's a servant of the people. He doesn't rule the people, he's a servant of the people, and he's got to understand that. Now, back to the Democrats. The Democrats have been saying, oh, we've got to protect the whistleblower, which is really rich coming from Democrats who've got a track history of actually attacking whistleblowers. They went after Snowden, they went after Manning, they went after Julian Assange, who were all just reporting facts. These people, they didn't make up stories, they reported facts. And the Democrats are more than happy to go after them. I'm not sure if Chelsea Manning's still in jail again this time around, but it wouldn't surprise me. Again, whistleblower. And whistleblowers are really important. They let people know about crimes being committed against them, in often cases by the own government. And these are the people who do need to be protected. Now, whistleblowers are not exclusive to government. They are often in the private sector, and they expose crimes being perpetrated by corporations and other individuals, which is a good thing. And they should be protected because they are doing the right thing. They're reporting crimes. They shouldn't be punished. But that is not the case. if you actually look back at the history of whistleblowers, especially in the United States since World War II, and we're going to talk about it in context of the Espionage Act, which is what's being talked about by Trump, and he's saying that he wants that this is espionage and this person should be tried as espionage, and that's what the US does. The US has a long history of using the Espionage Act to prosecute whistleblowers who have exposed the crimes of the United States government. And that's all they did. These aren't criminal people. These are loyal patriots. They didn't sell any secrets to the enemy. They didn't run away to foreign countries giving away information about the United States. They exposed corruption, illegal practices, murder, and other offences being committed by the United States government. And their reward for this, in often cases, if they didn't only lose their careers, they were incarcerated for long periods of time. So the whistleblowers it's a problem, and these are people that should be rewarded and thanked. These aren't people who should be prosecuted and jailed and lose their careers. These are the true patriots. This person at the moment who has exposed what Trump has been doing went through all the proper legal channels. They didn't go to any foreign government, they didn't run to the press, they didn't do anything that they weren't supposed to do. They followed all the proper legal channels, and they are still being attacked. Now, coming from Trump, that doesn't surprise me. What surprises me is that the Republican Party are getting into it. Now, well, it shouldn't surprise me by now, because after Trump was elected, the Republican Party threw out whatever was left of their souls. They have absolutely no right to call themselves the party of law and order. They've got no right to call themselves patriots. They've sold out their country, they've sold out their people, they've sold out everybody. And to be honest, the Democrats aren't much better, because they've just sat back and let it all happen, and they've done nothing. Yes, we're going to impeachment now with Trump. This should have happened 3 years ago, because he's been committing illegal acts. Everybody knows he's been committing illegal acts. He's been breaching, for starters, the emoluments clause. Forgetting everything else, that's enough to impeach him. And it is something, it's a law he has to uphold. And he doesn't uphold the law. The Republicans have done absolutely nothing about it. If Republicans were doing the job that they swore an oath to do when they took office, he would have been impeached 3 years ago by the Republican Party. Forget the Democrats. He should have been impeached by Republicans. These are supposed to be the party of patriots. And no, they're not doing anything about it. So he's been let get away with it. Now he's going after a whistleblower. He's making threats against the whistleblower. He's making suggestive remarks for somebody to hurt the whistleblower, which makes me fear for their safety. And I really hope that nothing happens to this person, but I certainly wouldn't be surprised if something did. And when it turns out that that person is a Trump supporter or somebody working for the Republican Party, it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all, which is really sad, and it's really scary that it's getting to this point. But for whistleblowers, this is not news. There is a long, long, long list of whistleblowers who have paid a very high price for doing the right thing. These are people who should be rewarded, they should be thanked, they should be honoured, they should be respected, because they're going against their employers, they're going against the government, but they're doing what is right. I'm not talking about people who are committing proper espionage, selling secrets to the enemy. These aren't those kind of people. These are people who are going to the American public or to the public at large and saying, hey, this is being done against you and something needs to be done about it. And for the most part, they've gone through all the proper channels, and still they've lost their careers, they've lost respect, lost their homes, and in a lot of cases they've lost their freedoms. And this is something that should not be allowed to happen. And what's happening at the moment is something that everybody should be disgusted with. I don't care what party you support. This is not something that should be tolerated by anybody. It goes against every single principle that we should believe in, and it definitely goes against the Constitution. It definitely goes against the law, and something needs to be done. And I'm hoping that enough of the right people step up and make sure that whatever goes on, that the whistleblowers start getting protected. And people like Snowden, he should not be persecuted or prosecuted or left in a place where he is. He should be allowed to come home and free because he did nothing wrong. Julian Assange did nothing wrong. Chelsea Manning did nothing wrong. These are people who did the right thing and did their job and did their duty. And because it was something that the government doesn't like, they're being attacked on every front. So they're not alone. Go and have a look at whistleblowers' history of the United States in Wikipedia, and it gives you lots of references, lots of sources, and there is a very long list of names. And the sad part you'll see is that most of these people have suffered for trying to do the right thing and trying to let the people know the crimes that are being committed by corporations and by the government, and they shouldn't be in the positions that they're in. So I'm hoping that this latest episode, and I'm not concerned about the impeachment part of it, I'm more concerned about the safety of the person who's exposed all this stuff. So let's hope something good happens. Alright everyone, talk to you again soon.